Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to get started in just a minute while we let everyone sign in. Can't see on my end how many people are in. How many do we have, Laura?
27 total right now.
Okay.
And just as everyone's coming in, we're going to ask everyone to please keep your videos off and microphones muted if you're not speaking, just so we can make this easier on everyone's eyes and ears. So I'll be helping folks by turning off cameras and muting folks if they're not talking. So just a heads up for everyone.
And also, this is being live streamed to our YouTube channel. So please be aware of sharing overly personal information. We don't want anything to leave this space. Let's see. And then please feel free, if you have any questions at any time, to just put them in the chat and we'll get to you that way. We also will have plenty of time for questions throughout the presentation. Let's see. A few more people joining on, but I'll go ahead and start. I'll introduce myself. I'm Elizabeth Munyon, and I am the home purchasing coordinator with Maggie Walker Community Land Trust. So I focus a lot on everything related to getting folks through the application process, through the closing, and then into your home. And I have some of my colleagues with me, so I'll let them introduce themselves.
Sure. I am Flora Valdez-Tepena. I am the communications coordinator for Maggie Walker CLT. So I handle our emails, social media, websites, our Zoom events like this, and other types of things like that. Nice to see you all.
Good evening to each of you. I am Candace Turner. I am the Director of Home Ownership here at Maggie Walker. And my role is to work with the people side. So I do work with Elizabeth. She takes care of you on the front end of things. We have April Ward, who takes care of you on the back end of things once you've purchased the home. And I coordinate the in-between in both. So we're happy to have you here this evening, and we welcome your questions as well. And I will pass it to Leah.
Hi, team. My name is Leah Coltrane. I am Maggie Walker's AmeriCorps member. I am in the process of processing quite a few people's applications. So you might get some initial emails from me when just gathering information. So we can get you into our pool. So excited to be here and can't wait to reach out to a few of you in the future.
Great, thank you all. And are there any, I believe, is Jen on the call? You can introduce yourself at this point.
Yes, good evening, everyone. My name is Jen Cox, and I am the realtor that works with the Maggie Walker Community Land Trust. I assist with open houses that are in the program. I answer questions for some of the buyers that are on the wait list. And I also work with the realtors to assist with the real estate transaction side of the process. So thank you all for joining.
Thanks,
Hi,
Jen.
everyone. Hi, everyone. This is Viva Moore. I'm with Fulton Mortgage. I'm one of the lenders on the preferred lender list.
Good evening. This is Mary White. I'm with Town Bank Mortgage. We are also on the preferred lender list, and I've been working with a number of folks from Maggie Walker, including some folks that are in the process of purchasing their home through Maggie Walker. So it's very exciting.
Thanks, Viva and Mary. Are there any other lenders on the call? I can't see on my end, but feel free to come off mute.
think that's all tonight.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. Before we really jump into things, I do want to point out some housing resources that are available to anyone. So there's the Commonwealth Catholic Charities Credit Counseling program, and that is their contact information there on the left. They help with credit counseling and then also general home ownership education counseling, and have a lot of other housing services as well. And then the housing resource line is a hotline that connects folks in the Richmond area to all housing resources. And it's a great like first step if you're having a housing emergency or just general information about housing opportunities out there. So I recommend those two resources. Here's our agenda for tonight's presentation. So first, we're going to jump into what is a community land trust, go over some of the benefits, talk about eligibility and what makes the program unique. And then we're going to go into depth, learning a bit about the ground lease and how CLT homeownership differs from conventional homeownership. And then we're also going to go into our resale process and explaining what happens when you sell your home and how this model keeps homes permanently affordable. And then we're going to go into the application process and answer any questions related to applying and what that process looks like. And now I want to hear from you all. Flora is going to send a poll your way, and it will just give us a sense of who is on the call tonight.
And if you can't see the poll, don't worry about it. It's not required. But, feel free to sound off in the chat and, tell us who you are and why you're here and all that.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Yes. My name is Melanie, and I am looking to buy a home hopefully next year. Now I'm just here to get some information about going about doing that.
Awesome. Welcome, Melanie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see, how's that poll going, Flora?
Looks like we got about most people answered here. We got a lot of people here interested in purchasing a home. We got a good number of interested citizens and also some other folks involved in affordable housing and a realtor and someone else as well. So welcome to everyone.
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
How you doing? My name is Letitia Chapman. I've been trying to purchase a home for about 2 years now, and the housing market doesn't like me. So a realtor at I want to say the credit union, Virginia Credit Union, gave me some information about you all. So I'm very interested in your program and what it has to offer. And I'm hoping that you all will be able to help me in my journey to find my forever home.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, we're going to move on to this next section where you will have a chance to tell us a bit about what excites you about home ownership. This is a chance for you to come off mute and share why you're interested in purchasing a home. You can also put it in the chat. I'd love to hear from you all.
Latasia, did you want to share?
Yeah. Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, hi. My name is Latasia White. A friend of mine have, introduced me to the Maggie Walker program. I have been reaching out to Leah a lot because at first I thought I wasn't able to get into the, you know, this program. So she's been helping me a lot with, you know, with it. My question is, I do have, you know, the housing service, the counseling. I started that 2 weeks ago, but you know, my credit is not all that good, but it's not all that bad neither. But what I'm saying is, it's hard for me to get a secured credit card when I really don't have that much credit. So how can I go about doing that? Because that's what I'm working on now.
We're gonna go over questions about stuff like that later. And if you have questions about credit, our lenders are on the call and they can maybe start to answer some of that stuff for you, but we're just gonna stick with introductions right now, if that's okay.
Okay, that's fine.
I'll hop
So-
in there. My name is Chantel. One thing that excites me about home ownership is just not as many rules. And what I mean by that is I can paint, I can nail, I can park where I want to park, just a little bit more freedom.
Definitely. Yeah. We also have some great answers in the chat as well. Would you like to read them, Flora?
Yeah, so you know, a good financial investment, housing security, you know, starting some generational wealth, building equity for yourself and your family, a bigger home, a more stable home, you know, getting out of the rental market, you know, growing your family, and you know, unlocking more opportunity. Some good answers.
These are some great answers. And so on the flip side, homeownership can be a scary step. What makes you nervous or afraid about this process? And hopefully we can answer some of those concerns in this presentation. But again, feel free to drop them in the chat or come off mute and share with us.
This is Chantel. I'll say for me, what makes me afraid or nervous is just knowing how to, I won't say knowing how, but being able to maintain it financially as well as repairs.
Definitely.
And someone in the chat said, yeah, budgeting with a mortgage payment, the increasing interest rates, putting down a down payment.
Yeah, these are all very real things, and we'll get into that a bit throughout this presentation as well. Okay, so I'm going to jump into the presentation here. Thank you all so much for sharing. Some really thoughtful questions and thoughtful responses. So I first want to address our namesake, who is Maggie Walker. Maggie Lena Walker was the first Black woman to establish a bank and the first to serve as president of a bank in the US. Not only was she an amazing businesswoman, but she lifted the community with her. She empowered Black families and created opportunities for them to have stability and economic mobility. She was innovative and a visionary community leader. She not only had an impact and created opportunities for her community, she made intergenerational investments. She paved the way not only for Black business owners and community leaders, but for Black women who at the time were not deemed worthy of having a seat at the table. And a little bit about our organization. So you probably know of Maggie Walker Community Land Trust through our work in permanently affordable home ownership. And that's what we're primarily going to be focusing on tonight. But our organization also operates as the Richmond Land Bank. And that's a program that puts vacant property into strategic community uses. So what is a community land trust? I'm going to touch a little bit on the history of land trusts here. So the first CLT in the US was New Communities, Inc. in Albany, Georgia. And it was a grassroots movement that evolved out of the civil rights movement. And during this time, Black citizens who were sharecroppers were getting kicked out of their homes if their white landlords found out that they had registered to vote. So Black activists bought a large farm, and the intention was to farm the land together while everyone owned their home individually, but collectively owned the land and shared that land. And there's a lot more to this story, but I think it's important for us to uplift this history that shows a lot of racial, economic, environmental justice, and shows how Black-led organizations were really leading the way forward in this CLT movement. And so what is a community land trust? Community land trusts are nonprofit, community-based organizations that are designed to ensure community stewardship of land. Community land trusts can be used for many types of purposes, such as environmental conservation, commercial spaces, retail, but we are focusing on them for permanently affordable home ownership for lower to middle income families. And so to do this, the land trust acquires the land and maintains ownership of it permanently, while the houses themselves are purchased and resold at a affordable price. And I'll get into that a lot more in a bit. So this graph shows how when you buy a home on the conventional market, you are purchasing the home and implicitly the land beneath it. But with a CLT home, you are purchasing the house at a subsidized rate, and the land itself is remaining in the land trust. So you lease the land from us and then use it the same way that anyone else would. But when it's time to sell your home, you are only selling your house. The land itself is never sold. The next buyer also has to meet income requirements and buys the home from you at an affordable price. So the next owner is agreeing to the same sort of resale structure when they sell it. And that is how the home is sold from buyer to buyer at a permanently affordable rate as long as the home exists. And I see a hand raised, but we're going to get into questions in just a little bit. You can also type in the chat, but we'll have some time in just a minute to answer questions. So the CLT model is centered on racial equity, wealth generation, community control of land, collective decision-making, and long-term stewardship of both community and land. Community land trusts are both a model and a movement in which the land can be held by and for the community forever. This model balances the interests of the individual with the community. And what are some benefits of home ownership? So the CLTs will benefit the homeowner in a number of ways. Most importantly, they are some of the most affordable homes that you'll find in the Richmond area. And by affordable, we also mean that they are high quality, they're ready to move in, they're not fixer-uppers. All of our homes are either new construction or new rehabs. And then at a resale, they're also still very high quality. And the CLT allows homeowners to build wealth over time. So you will build wealth through your monthly mortgage payment and then through the way that the home will increase in the value of the wages of the Richmond area. And then this also benefits the home buyer by supporting assistance through the home buying process, pride, stability, and a quality home. And so this model helps the community by combating land loss displacement, building community wealth, and strengthening community health and well-being. And it's also used as a tool for reducing speculation and to keep neighborhoods diverse and vibrant. So who may want to buy a CLT home? So there are a few stipulations that make our program a bit different than the traditional housing market. So you do have to be income qualified, and I'll get to that in the next slide. You have to agree to the terms of the ground lease. You have to be pre-qualified with a lender who will lend for a CLT home. So you can't just use any lender for your mortgage. You do have to go through one of the lenders that is on our preferred lending list. And the other stipulation is that you cannot own a home at the time of closing. And you also have to live in your home full time. You can't rent it out. It can't be an investment property. You have to be the resident at that property. So onto our income limits. This is our 2022 numbers. And it's based on the area median income of the Richmond area. So these numbers are set by HUD each year. And it looks at the area median income of both 80% of the population and 115% AMI. So based on funding, and that varies from house to house, a house can sell either for 80% of the AMI or 115%. So for example, if you have a household of 2 people and the house that you want to purchase is in the 80% AMI program, you cannot make over $64,450 combined. And that's everyone in your household. Here is a simple map of where we currently have homes. So we are in Richmond City, Henrico County, and Chesterfield County. And we have homes that are coming developed in Ettrick Landing and Chesterfield. They'll be our first development with 10 units. And we also have a number of homes in Richmond, and then we're in the eastern side of Henrico County. So how does the program work? So the majority of how this program runs and operated is through the ground lease. And the ground lease is the legal document that restricts the price that the home can be resold, and it ensures that the home will remain affordable for at least 99 years. And this 99-year ground lease, that is intended to go beyond your life and probably that of your children. So this is fully inheritable. Your home can be passed down to anyone via your will or your heirs by state law. And we do offer life planning documents, a will and medical directive, power of attorney in our closing process free of charge as part of our homeownership stewardship program. And it also ensures that if your heirs choose to live in the home as their full-time residents, they will either continue on this current ground lease, or they may have the option of re-signing a ground lease. But if they don't want to live in the house, they can sell it and get the same proceeds from sale as they would if you had sold it before passing away. And then the ground lease is a $100 fee annually. It's invoiced to us 4 times a year in chunks of $25, or you can make a big payment of $100 at once. And this fee is really what ties you to the land. The board can raise the ground lease fee for any year ending in a 0 or 5, but they can't increase it ever more than $250, and they're only allowed to increase it at the same rate as the increase in the consumer price index. And so in 2020, the board had an option to change the ground lease fee, and they chose not to. So the next time they will be able to do it is in 2025. So only years ending in 0 or 5. And I'll talk a bit about our board governance here, which is another thing that makes the CLT program unique. We're run by a board of directors that is composed of 1/3 homeowners, 1/3 community members, and 1/3 public members. So if you are considering the program, I hope that you will at some point consider joining the board as well, or serving on one of the committees that advises the board in their decision making. So what is unique about CLT home ownership? So again, it must be your primary residence. if you meet someone and you decide to move in with them, you would need to sell your MWCLT home so that it can provide another opportunity for a family to own their own home. Again, you can't turn it into an investment property, an Airbnb, or rent it out. We don't allow anything like that. However, there can be certain exceptions on a case-by-case basis. For instance, military deployment for a family emergency, but in a situation where you will be out of your house for an extended period of time, you'll need permission from the board. And then renovations also must be approved by the board. And these are major, I'm talking about major renovations that would require a permit from your local jurisdiction. But as soon as you can move in to your house, you're allowed to change the wall color, install hardware, light fixtures, mount a TV, new shelving, anything like that. However, you just can't take down a wall or build a deck, anything that would be major without getting approval from our board. And the reason that we require that is just to make sure that everything is done well, at a high standard, and is safe for any future homeowners. And we also want to make sure that all renovations are going to continue to serve our home buyers in the future. And so in this model, you also build equity. So you're going to build equity from your down payment, your monthly mortgage payment, and your increase in wages instead of the market, which we'll get into a bit in the resale formula, but you will build equity on this as well. And here is a good time for Jen to do a plug on one of our houses, and then we're going to go into some questions.
Yes, thank you, Elizabeth. This is one of our homes over on in the Highland Park area. This home was listed at $155,000, 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths, and 1,200 square feet. And we're also going to open it up to any questions. You're welcome.
Yes, if anyone has a question, please feel free to come off mute. And then we'll also address some of the questions in the chat that haven't been answered.
This house is in Highland Springs? This is Sandy
Yeah.
Conyers. Yeah, this is Sandy Conyers. Okay.
Yes,
Yes,
and it
this
actually, yes, this one is located over in the Highland Springs area. And one important fact that I failed to mention is that this home sold for $155,000, but it appraised at $195,300. And Elizabeth would talk more about, how this program, what makes our program unique and affordable. So as we go through the slides, she'll kind of explain the difference of the sale versus the appraised value of the property.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions? Please feel free to unmute yourselves.
It is huge. Did you have any more pictures, or that was just that was
If
the only
you
one?
if you look at there's a link in the chat that has some more information about this home if you're curious.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just I want to look at all of them, but I just trying to see.
Yeah, there's also a link that will show you a list of all of our recently sold homes that I can put in the chat. Couple questions.
I saw one last night on the when you guys sent the email out for today. I think it was one house on there that was, I forgot where it was at. It looked like
the one that I sent out last night was in Churchill.
Yeah. That's not too far for where my mom lived at. So
yeah, the Churchill ones are super nice. There's a few questions in the chat here, so I'm just going to read these out really quickly. Andrea asked, how long are individuals usually on a wait list?
That's what I was gonna ask.
That really depends on the individual and our pipeline. So if you have a certain area that you need to be in for your children's school or be close to family, and you're waiting for a particular neighborhood or a particular school district, that might take longer than if a home comes available that you are more flexible to move into. And then in terms of our pipeline, things there can be slow and then all at once. So it's really hard to predict when someone will resell their home, and there could be homes available that way. And then also just with our construction pipeline, we are in a bit of a slow period, but we're really picking up and going to be picking up into 2023. Pretty big time.
Let's see, Lanita asked if there's a maintenance issue with the home, who handles that?
So as the homeowner, you do have a warranty on certain appliances and certain things in your house. So if something goes wrong that's under warranty, then that will be handled through the builder or through the warranty company. But things like yard maintenance, you are responsible for, like cutting your grass and any kind of general upkeep of the yard and upkeep of the home. But then we do provide you with like assistance if you need like a recommendation on like if something goes wrong, we can help you find someone to look at something in your house.
That's good.
All right. Jolene asked, how many homes do you expect to have available this year? And by this year, I'm assuming you mean like 2023. And I think the answer to that question is, I don't have a specific number, but it's a pretty good amount. There are some large developments that are going to be coming online sort of soon. There's a good number under construction right now.
And we will
also,
have, before the end of the year, we have I think 6 or 7. I think 6 going to be available before the end of 2022.
Yeah, there's a good chunk that are gonna become available like right at the end of the year. Not, so definitely January, if not this month. Let's see, the ground lease fee sounds more like an HOA, because if the CLT owns the land for a lifetime, why does the buyer have to pay $25 or a fee of $100?
I think you answered this question well, Flora.
Okay, so the ground lease fee is there not because we want to make money off of you. We're not your landlord or anything like that. It basically exists because in order for your house to legally be on our land, there has to be an exchange of money, basically. So it's really there to serve as just like a nominal fee that ties our land and your house together. And the ground lease document itself is what actually regulates the sale price of the house. So that's what keeps it permanently affordable throughout the house's lifetime, after you sell it and, et cetera.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
So being that y'all still own the land, how does that go with taxes?
You look excited to answer that, Flora.
No, I was gonna give it to you, Elizabeth.
So we will get into this in a bit later in the presentation, but I don't know if you'll remember at the very beginning, I touched on the role of the Richmond Land Bank. And so because Maggie Walker Community Land Trust serves as the Richmond Land Bank, all of our properties, and we also serve as the Henrico and Chesterfield land banks as well. All of our properties are land tax exempt. However, you do still pay taxes on the home, and that is coming out of your escrow account in your monthly mortgage fee.
Yes, and the taxable amount of your home is also based on the resale price and not based on the market assessment. And there is a law about that. Your home can't be taxed for more than you can sell it for. So that is also tied to the ground lease fee, or not the ground lease fee.
And that's another
the resale.
affordability point of our program.
Yes.
So you'd be paying a lot less in taxes than you would be through a traditional market home.
All right.
Question.
Yeah, please.
If you apply for the program and your credit is low, I believe I seen it has to be at least 620, if I'm not mistaken. If you apply and it's like too low for, I guess, the standards or whatever, what does that mean? Does that mean you're like not able to get into the program, or are you still be able to like stay on a list or something like that, or do you have to like reapply or something?
So I know that each individual lender has specific requirements for what they will, and it's not just your credit score. So they'll look at you and a big complete picture. So what your debt to income is, other things, they'll look at you as a complete applicant. And so it's not just the credit score, and your lender can definitely advise you on what to do once you go through that process. And then we at Maggie Walker will keep your application on file. And if we know that you need to work on a few things, and then we'll be still interested, just need to build up the credit a few points, we'll definitely keep your information on file. And then as soon as you are able to pre-qualify, then you'll be good to go.
And how many lenders are you allowed to like apply for pre-qualification with?
So we have 6 lenders that we work with, and there's no limit to reaching out to all of them if you want. You can definitely encourage you to talk to a few and see who's a good fit for you. And Flora, would you be able to put the link to our lender? Oh, you're a step ahead of me. So this just dropped into the chat. It's all of our lenders that we currently work with, and at least 3 of them are on the call tonight, and I'm sure we'll be happy to reach out to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then there's a question about financial management counseling. So one of the application requirements is a home ownership class, but we do not require financial management specifically. We do offer and refer our folks a lot to Commonwealth Catholic Charities for credit counseling. And I know a lot of our lenders also have like financial management and financial readiness classes and resources through their organization. So there definitely are contacts and great resources that we can put you into if you're not quite at the home ownership readiness, but very interested and looking at how to make that a goal in the near future.
There was a question a while back. Are you able to get the home inspected before purchase? And if so, can you use an inspector of your choice?
So they are inspected before, and I do not know the answer to that question.
I believe the answer is yes. You can use whatever inspector you choose for the home inspection.
Okay. It might also depend on who is selling the home, like if it's Project Homes property.
And also the person would be responsible for the fee associated with that inspection.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So I had multiple questions. This is Teachy Pinkney Apps. My first question was, are any of those properties available for lease to own?
At this point, no. So we do have a lease to own program And it is a pilot program, and we currently have all of those homes full right now. So we are currently assessing that program, but we don't have any available right now.
Okay. Then my second question was, how does my organization get on your preferred lender list?
That is a great question. You can reach out to me or Candace, and we can touch base with you.
Okay. And I know you said it earlier, my apology. Where do we get the applications?
So that is on our website.
Okay.
We'll get into that in a second and during the application section.
Oh, okay. Thank you, dear.
Yeah. So in the interest of time, I'm gonna move on just because we have a lot to cover tonight. So again, just feel free if you have a question, just type it in the chat and we will have another opportunity to come off of mute and answer questions again. So I'm going to focus on how our home ownership program compares to renting. So as you already know, when you rent your home, you're not going to keep any of that rent payment when you move. So this chart shows how your monthly rent payment multiplied by 24 months, multiplied by the time of how many years you've been in your home, how much you will have spent in rent. So looking at this example, let's say that you're paying $825. It's not really the median in Richmond anymore, but if after 5 years you have spent about $49,500 in rent alone, and that's money that you do not get back. However, with home ownership, you keep all of the equity that you earn by paying your loan principal with your monthly mortgage payments. And so this is an amortization schedule, and the purpose of this example, we're going to look at that home, a home that is purchased January 1st of 2019 for $145,000 with a 3% down payment. And we chose this example because the monthly payment would be about the same as you'd be paying in rent, that $825. So after the first year, the total that you pay to the bank does not change, and you pay that same amount every year. But what does change is what goes into principal and what goes into interest. And as you break down your principal, which is the amount that you borrowed from the bank, things start to shift so that more money starts to go into principal and less into interest. And I'm going to quiz one of the lenders on the call and ask them what would happen if you put an extra payment, one extra payment a year towards your principal.
Hey, Elizabeth, it's Tanya from Department of Commerce.
Hi, Tanya.
If you made one extra principal payment per year to your principal balance, you would cut your term down 7 to 8 years.
Thank you. Yeah, so it would definitely try to shift that balance sooner, what's going into principal. And so if we see here, if this individual does not make any extra payments, they're just paying their mortgage on time when it's due. After 5 years, they have accrued $16,225 in equity, and that's just from paying your mortgage on time. So if the buyer were to sell at any point, they would have $16,255 of equity that they have paid into the house instead of paying rent. And that is, again, based on the increase in the area median income over those 5 years. And this is another graphic representation of how your mortgage works. So this big blue box here, this shows what you are paying in rent each month to the bank. And so most of your money is going to interest, with about a quarter of it going into principal in year 2. But then by year 15, you're still paying the same amount, but now half of it is going into principal and the other half is going into interest. And then this is just an example of by year 25, if you haven't paid an extra payment and you still have a mortgage by this time, most of your money is actually going into principal. And this concept is true for all mortgages, not just the CLT program. And so far, we've only been talking about the money that you've borrowed for the bank, but another part of your monthly mortgage is your escrow. And so as a homeowner, you still have to pay for insurance on the house, not the land, and taxes. And so these are usually due every 6 months, and it can be a pretty hefty sum. And so the bank wants to make sure that you pay your taxes and your insurance, because if you don't, you could lose your home. So instead of paying in this big lump sum, you divide those payments into your escrow. And so part of your monthly mortgage payment is your mortgage, and then the other portion is your escrow account. So while what you are paying to the bank for your loan doesn't change, your insurance and your taxes may change a bit. And that can make your monthly payment go up or down, but it definitely doesn't fluctuate as much as your rent would over that same time. Jen, can you tell us a bit about this home, and then we'll go into some questions.
Yes, I can. Okay, so this is the very first home that was actually built through the MWCLT. This home is located in the Churchill neighborhood, and it sold for $227,500. This property is a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bathroom home. And we are going to open the floor for questions.
Hey, we got a backlog of chat questions that I'm going to go through really quickly.
Okay.
Are there going to be properties available before the end of 2022? We talked about this earlier, but we expect there to be like 6 or 7 homes that become ready, maybe by the end of December, but definitely in January. Not, like right away immediately, but definitely by the new year. And that's just a few in Jackson Ward, actually, and then a one in Oakwood, and a couple, or one in Swansboro. Credit requirements, we talked a little bit about that. Who pays the property taxes? We talked about that.
Question about bankruptcy that might be helpful since we have the lenders on the call. The question is, how do we work with former and current bankruptcy clients?
Hi, this is Viva. I can speak for Fulton Mortgage. For our program, ideally, if the bankruptcy is discharged at least 3 years or more, then it's possible that we could still write the mortgage, ideally 5 years or more from bankruptcy discharge.
Thanks, Viva.
All right. Letitia asks if we've already completed homeownership classes, would we still have to take another one? And are there any grant programs available to help with closing costs and down payments?
Yes. So for the first part of your question, the home class certificate is good for 2 years. So if it's been longer than that, you will have to retake it. And we do work with other nonprofits and grant providers in the area that provide us with down payment assistance and other closing cost assistance. And I'll get into more detail with that in the application section of the presentation.
Hi, this is Viva. If I could also tag on that each lender, each of the preferred lender might actually have grant funds in-house that can be combined with other resources too.
Yes, that's true. Good point. And then someone has a question about veterans and VA loans. Can one of the lenders speak to that?
This is Mary. The VA loan program does not work with Maggie Walker Homes because of the fact that it is a leasehold type of property. That's a very unique property. So the programs that we are all working with are all conventional loan programs. And so we have to fit whatever the conventional program guidelines are, which there is a slight difference between some of the lenders in some cases. In other cases, some of the programs that we're offering are all basically the same because we're using the same investor. So unfortunately, VA is not one of them. But the great thing about the Maggie Walker properties and the loan programs that we work with on them is that you automatically have equity built into your home. So you don't have really, in some cases, you may not even have to come up with a down payment because you already have the equity that is built into the property.
Thank you.
We got a couple other.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm
go
sorry,
ahead.
Flora. This is Mary again. The one thing that I did want to mention is if you are a veteran, there's a grant program that Town Bank Mortgage works with that is getting ready to run out of funding for this year, but there will be new funding for 2023. And as a veteran, you can qualify under a special program with this grant that would give you $10,000 in grant funds, which is in addition to any other grant funds you might be able to qualify for through some of the other nonprofits.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
All right. So a question from a while ago, how often do we list new homes? There is not really, we don't have a consistent schedule because we've kind of been, we build when we can. And with the pandemic and everything, building materials have been difficult to get. Work schedules have been inconsistent. So we don't have a consistent schedule of like how often. But usually it's something like this where we're going to release like 6 or 7 homes at once and then not have any for a little bit. And then like, another batch in like, 3-4 months. It depends. It really depends. Let's see. What are the bedroom counts? So typically our homes are 3 bedrooms. We have had the rare 4-bedroom and the occasional 2-bedroom as well, but 3 bedrooms is definitely our usual. There was a question a while ago about accessible homes. As far as I know, we have actually only built 1 accessible home so far, but there will be 3, I think, included in a development that we're working on in Ettrick. So that is something. But the one accessible home that we did do was like we worked with the buyer to get it built to his need. So it was a special case. So if that's something you'd be interested in, like apply and then like talk to us about it. Do we pick our homeowners insurance or will it be a set company that we have to use?
So it's a little bit tricky to get certain home insurers to insure for CLT properties. So we have had in the past home buyers have a bit of a challenge getting them through just anyone. So we do have a few that most of our home buyers go through.
Okay, if your income changes above the threshold while you live in the house, can you remain in the home or do you need to sell?
So you can stay in your home.
Yeah, we hope you get a promotion. We hope you get a big raise and make way more money. It does not matter to us. Haven't seen any houses on the west end of Henrico. Do you have any homes there? We're thinking about it. We don't have any homes in the west end right now, but we are thinking about it because we know it's a very high opportunity area and people really want to live there. So yeah, we're trying to figure out a way to best serve needs out in the west end. If I received a home buyer education certificate from home, will that help me with your program, or would I have to obtain an MWCLT certificate as well? I'm not sure if you even offer that. Yeah, the home education certificate is good. We don't have our own certificate.
And I will just say that we work with Home a lot. They're one of our partners. And I'd say a majority of our homeowners work with them for down payment assistance and then through their home buying education program. So we're close partners and encourage you to go through their program as well. Okay. In the interest of time, I'm going to keep going. But then again, please feel free to drop your questions in the chat. I'm going to talk about taxes. So again, you are not, you are responsible for the taxes on your house, but not the land. And that is because Maggie Walker operates as the land bank. And so the land tax is exempt. And also there is state legislation that states that CLT homeowners cannot be taxed on the full market value of the home, and that they can only be taxed on what they can sell the home for according to this ground lease. So again, you'll have lower taxes, and this is another one of our affordability features. I touched on this a bit as well, but you are responsible for the upkeep of your home and any necessary maintenance. So this includes fixing broken appliances, leaky roof, broken windows, etc. And then the land, so mowing, taking care of dead vegetation, things like that. So what happens when you sell your CLT home? And this is a big part of our program that you'll want to pay attention to, because we're going to talk about our resale formula and what equity you will get out of your home. So when you sell your home, you are entitled to get back your cash equity, which is any down payment that you put towards your home, any earned equity. And again, this is that loan principal that you pay off by making your monthly mortgage payments. And then you are also entitled to your home's increased in value. And then again, this is based on the increase in area incomes while you have lived in your home. So when you, this here is one of our CLT homes, and this is in the Randolph neighborhood in Richmond. The home appraised for $215,000, but it was sold for $145,000 through subsidies. And so this home buyer borrowed less, and they had lower monthly payments and a lower down payment than they would have if they had purchased this home on the market. And so that's how the pricing structure works. So when you go to sell your home, we start with the original sales price, and that is that $145,000. And then we'll calculate the increase in the area median income while you have owned your home. So in the purpose of this example, let's see, the AMI, which is the area median income when the home was purchased, was $83,200. And then when the house was sold, the AMI had jumped to $90,200. And so that change in AMI was 8.41%. So we multiply your original sales price by that 8.1%, which is $12,200. And that is the equity that you're that you earn, and the amount that your home has increased in value, and you are entitled to that, plus any down payment you've put into your home, and plus any principal that you've paid through your mortgage payments. And though this has not been the case, if the area median income decreases while you live in your home, you will still be able to sell your home for what you purchased it for. So you will not lose money through this program. As a reminder, this is an example of the amortization schedule that we went through earlier, where it showed how the homeowner has accrued $16,225 just by paying their monthly mortgage payment. So in this example of 5 years living in the CLT home, this person has accrued $16,225 from the down payment and principal, $12,200 from the home's increase in value, and then that gives us a total of $28,425 in equity. However, if a person had been renting during this time, based on that example we showed earlier, they would have spent $49,500 in rent. Instead, they've accrued $28,425 over that 5-year span. And there's a chart that shows that. Now I'm going to talk a bit about the resale formula. So the CLT model makes it possible for this home to be affordable for future families who may be in the similar economic situation that you are in right now. So when you go to sell your home, we'll take that original sales price of $145 and add on the $12,200 from the increase in the value of the home, and the home will resell for about $157,200 plus some fees. So this house will continue to be affordable for the future home buyer. Jen, can you tell us a bit about this house? And then we're going to open the floor for some more questions.
Yes, this is one of our first developments in Chesterfield County. This home was listed for $135,000, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath. And we're going to open the floor for any questions.
So we did get a question in the chat. Who maintains the beauty of the overall community? Is there an HOA? And the answer to that is we don't have any homes that are in HOA neighborhoods right now. We may in the future, and when that time comes, we will figure out what to do about that. But we don't have any homes in HOA communities right now. Most of our homes are in regular old city neighborhoods, like Randolph and Churchill and stuff. You know, some are further out in the suburbs. Those don't have HOAs. We are building our first subdivision in Southern Chesterfield, like I said, in Ettrick. Don't know if that's going to have an HOA. Don't know how that's going to work. We will figure it out. If we are able to purchase a home, would we need to purchase our own appliances?
So appliances are included in your home sale. So if there's any, like just your basic appliances are included and you would not need to purchase them.
I have an addendum to that question that's not included. What if an appliance breaks and needs to be replaced by a homeowner?
Is it under warranty?
I mean, if it's assuming it's not under warranty.
Then I believe you would have to pay for it. Am I getting quizzed? I don't.
No, is that something that the stewardship fund could help with?
Potentially. So we are in conversations as an organization about a homeowner stewardship fund, and that's in the early planning stages. But considering like what kind of funds could be available for emergency situations, like a appliance breakdown or any kind of roof repair or critical maintenance. And we are in the early stages of talking through what that kind of stewardship program could look like.
And there is a link with more information about this home in the chat, if anyone wants to check it out.
Flora, can you send a link, or sorry, the link to the lenders again?
Yes, one sec.
Thank you. And that has every lender's contact information, including their emails and phone numbers. And solar panels. I believe that that would be something that the board would need to approve, but I'm pretty sure that they would approve it.
Yeah, that's another situation where it would affect the value of the home, potentially beyond what the resale formula would account for. So you would still be bound by the resale formula when you go to sell it. So that's why the board would need to be approved, or would need to approve it. Which sheds need to be approved?
So if they're on skids and movable, not on a base, they are allowed by right. But then again, if you would be building anything bigger like a garage or anything that would require a permit, you do need to get approval from the board. Okay, thanks for your contact info, Mary. If any of the lenders also want to drop their info, that would be great. And I'm going to go into, unless we have any pressing questions, I'm going to go into the application process. We're going to talk a bit about how to apply for a home and answer any questions that you may have specifically about applying and what that might look like for you. So here's a graphic that shows the steps that go into owning a Maggie Walker home. So congrats, you've completed step 1, which is attending our info session. And this is required for everyone. So even if you've submitted an application already, you do need to attend the info session because we talk a bit about how our program is different than other homeownership opportunities and work out some of the details with you so you know what you're getting into. And then if you are excited about the program and want to apply, you'll submit your application, and then you will also submit your required income documents. And I'll go into that in a second. And you also need to send a certificate of a completion of a home ownership training. And these must be HUD approved home ownership trainings. And most of our applicants will go through either Virginia Housing or Housing Opportunities Made Equal. And there is one, I believe, through Southside Community Development that people have done in the past. But I'd say Housing Opportunities Made Equal or Home is a great option. And then again, once you complete their homeownership class, you can also potentially receive down payment assistance if you qualify and meet with a counselor. And then also the Virginia Housing Opportunity. They have an online class, a self-paced class, and also in-person classes that are very easy to attend. They're offered really frequently, and you can submit that as part of your application as well. And then once you complete your homeownership class, you will also need to be pre-qualified from a mortgage from our preferred lenders list. And Flora dropped that link, and a lot of the lenders are on the call right now. And again, you are welcome to reach out to multiple lenders and see who would be a best fit for you based on your individual circumstance. And once you have that pre-qualification letter and all of your income documents sent in, you will be in our approved applicant pool. And that is a pool of folks that have a complete application and will be receiving emails, notifications when homes become available. So you won't hear about homes until everything is complete. And at that point, you will get a notification a home is ready or becoming available, and you will be informed of the price of the home, the neighborhood, the bedrooms, etc. And if you're interested, you can set up a time with your real estate agent to view the home, or with Jen, our realtor. And if you're interested, then you submit a contract. You may at this point need to resubmit your income documents. It's been a significant amount of time since they've passed because we need to make sure that everyone is still income qualified. And if there's a situation in which multiple applicants are interested in the same home, we refer to our buyer prioritization policy, which I will have Laura link in the chat for me. So this policy is a way that we hope to promote equity in our process. It is not first come, first serve. We award homes based on more need-based. So there is a link to the policy in there. And if you all have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those for you. So that is how the home choosing process works. And then after a homeowner has been assigned to a house, you meet with our attorney to go through closing documents, and this includes going over the ground lease in depth so that you really understand what you're getting yourselves into with the ground lease, and we're sure that you're agreeing to the terms of the ground lease. And that's about it. And then you'll move into your new home. And then again, these are the lenders who currently lend to MWCLT. And so again, just as a reminder, you must be approved for a conventional loan. That's the only type of loan that currently lends to CLTs. And at this point, we have a minimum of $130,000 to be in our program. And so here is a more in-depth overview of the application process. And if Leah is still on, you're welcome to chime in. But this, Leah is our Vista who is helping me with the applications and will also be a contact along your application journey. So the specific income documents that you will need to submit are 3 months of your latest pay stubs or benefit statements for each household member over 18, unless they're a full-time student, but it will require those documents for everyone that is making an income at that point. We'll also need 6 months of your bank statements for all accounts. So that includes checking, savings, if you have multiple checking accounts, for all adults, and then the 2 most recent federal tax returns and your matching W-2s. So everyone that's applying right now, that will be your 2020 and your 2021 taxes. And then you also need to submit any record of assets over $5,000. After your income verification is complete and you are notified that you're within our income limits, that point is a great opportunity for you to go through the pre-qualification process with one of our approved lenders. But however, if you already have a pre-qualification, then that's awesome. You can send that along with your application. This is just a suggestion, but these steps can be kind of completed out of order as long as you get everything in, including your homeowner ed, then you are in our applicant pool. And so again, once you enter our applicant pool, then you are notified of homes as they become available.
I don't think I have anything to add besides you might get an email from me and it'll just be leah@maggiewalker.org or MWCLT.org. I'm looking forward to connecting with people as Elizabeth passes along the application.
Yay. And you can also, we'll put your email in the chat, and it's also at the very last slide, I believe. Let's see. I'll get to questions in a bit, but here's just some general tips for applying. Again, Home of VA has great down payment assistance resources and home counseling services. It's a great idea to keep a lot of these income documents in a consistent place and a safe file, because you'll be submitting them to a number of folks throughout the process. So you'll submit them to me, to your lender, and then to any financial counselors. So be sure when you're gathering your documents to make a list of what you have. And then stay connected with us as you go through your process, just so we know where you are and that you're still interested, or if you're not interested, please let us know. But definitely stay in contact with the staff and let us know how everything is going for you. And don't wait, apply now, especially since we have some homes coming available towards the end of the year. And here is a list of what to do next. So our application is found on our website. You can find it right there. I'll set a link in the chat too. And you can submit it. This is not up to date. We don't have a Google form yet, but you are welcome to fax it, to drop it off, to mail it, or to send it to me through email. Again, here are some housing resources that I pointed out at the beginning of the presentation, but please reach out to Commonwealth Catholic Charities if you have any credit concerns, and then to the housing resource line for any general housing inquiries. And thank you again. Here's my contact info, Flora's email, April's email, and she couldn't be here today. And I have Candace's contact in the chat, I believe. Candace, can you drop your email for us as well? And this is another opportunity for questions, and we will be able to answer anything else for you at this time. And please take advantage of the lenders being on the call, because they are very knowledgeable.
Really quickly, I'm gonna do the quiz.
Oh, thank you.
While we answer questions. So this is just a short, just 3-question quiz. Well, 1 question asking if you're gonna apply, and then 3 questions just about stuff we went over. It's not graded, it's not required. It's just asking you these things to see how we did tonight in teaching you all this stuff. So please, if you see the questions on your screen, go ahead and answer them. If you don't, no big deal, don't worry about it. So I'm going to launch this quiz, and then we're going to answer your questions. So let's see. Are you able to purchase more than one CLT home over the years if seeking a different location in the future?
So we have had a CLT resident move to a new house, and she was in Randolph and then moved to Chesterfield County. And that was kind of a situation of a family size change. And we feel like that is allowed. And if there's a home in a different area that better suits you, or like if there's a big family transition, but you are allowed to apply for a different home, but you also would be still going through that buyer prioritization process, and then you would be reselling your current home. You can't own them both at the same time.
And you'd have to income qualify still.
Yes.
For assets over 5,000 that have to be added, if we had a retirement fund but withdrew it due to switching jobs, does it still have to be included?
So if you have access to that money at this point, then you would need to report it. I'm not sure I completely understand the question, but if you have
so this person is saying, like, if they had a retirement fund at a job and then they left that job and withdrew their retirement funds to their like regular bank account, would that still count as an asset that they would have to claim?
Yes, if it's over $5,000.
All right, and this, what if you are already pre-approved by a lender?
So again, you still would need to be pre-approved by one of our preferred lenders. So it's great that you already have them maybe through a different lender, but unfortunately, there are only a few lenders that are lending to CLT homes. So you probably are in a great spot if you've been already approved through someone else, but you would need to see one of our lenders and get a pre-qualification through them.
Right. And then what do you look for in these 6 months of bank statements?
That's a great question. So we basically just want to make sure that you are not making more than you're reporting, and so that there are not any large deposits that are not reported, so that we're making sure that you're under the income for our program.
And let me add to that, Elizabeth, that is, that's a same requirement for conventional loans as well. So
Yeah.
whoever asked the question, I want to make sure you're aware that while we're asking for that as the community land trust, that is something that conventional loans require as well.
Yes, and any other nonprofit, like for example, home, they also require people from being, you can't be over the 80% AMI for their program either. So they also use income calculation to determine your income. So they'll look at your documents like that as well.
Does child support count as income?
So on our application, you'll see we have a pretty detailed explanation of what to count and what not to count. So child support does count. And there's a section in there where you write your amount, and then there's certain things that you'll need to list that are on the application. It goes through that, and then you can see things that are exempt. For example, like EBT, you don't need to report that. So the application shows a pretty detailed list of what you will and what you will not need to declare.
Let's see. What if it's a joint bank account? Do you assume half?
So for joint bank accounts, that's a really specific question, and it really depends on your situation. So if you're applying with the same person that you are having the joint bank account with, that would be helpful. But if it's someone that is not applying for the house with you, that might get complicated. But since it's an individual question and we're live streaming this, just shoot me an email and we can talk through it. Because I don't want to give too much personal financial information over this call.
Yeah, don't want to put you on blast. Is there a certain amount of required savings kept for a duration of time? I feel like this is maybe a lender question.
Ask the question again, please.
Are they required to have a certain amount of savings kept for a duration of time?
It depends upon the automated system that many of us use when we're approving our loans. In some cases, we're able to get a loan approved with no extra cash reserves other than needing just what you need to get into the house. In other cases, sometimes the system may come back and say, the only way we're going to be able to get this approved is if you can show that after you pay whatever cash you need to close on the house, that you have 1, 2, or maybe even 3 months of the new house payment in cash reserves. And we can use those reserves from things like a 401k if you have a clause in your 401k that allows you to access the funds for emergency situations or hardship situations.
Thanks for answering that, Mary. Oh, here's the question.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
How long after submitting the application will a person hear something back? Because I submitted an application like a week or 2 ago and I haven't heard anything back.
Yeah, sorry about that. So a lot of our staff was at a conference last week, and then we had Thanksgiving break. So I know we are still catching up to things, but typically it will be pretty quickly after that. So we will follow back with you shortly. We've had some sicknesses and conferences and vacation, so we're a little slow right now, but we'll be getting back with you shortly.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, if one of your adult kids is temporarily living with you, or is their income required?
So I believe it's on the application. It will say like what % of the time they live with you. So if I should pull up the application in front of me. It is listed on the application. If I can pull it up quickly, I'll look into that really quick. If it's temporary and part-time, it will be different than if they're a permanent household member. And then also if they are like a dependent on your taxes or just living there short term. But if it's a case by case situation, I will reach out to you individually.
Yeah, and if they're not moving into your new house with you, then their income is not being considered. And then with the child support, does it count for the amount paid or the amount ordered by the court?
That's another very specific question. So I think that's an individual situation where we'll touch that one-on-one.
How long do you have to be in your job to qualify?
Do you want a lender to answer that?
Yes,
okay.
Please.
It just depends. If you have just recently changed jobs, but you're still in the same line of work, all we're going to want to do is make sure that you've been at your job long enough that you can get or provide a pay stub reflecting 30 days of income on it. Now, if you've just changed jobs and you're in a completely different field or line of work, we're going to want to see that you've been there typically at least 6 months just for some sense of a job stability to make sure that you're going to be staying in that job and in that line of work. And then, if you've just started your job out of college and it's related to what you went to school with, then the answer might be you don't need necessarily to be there a full 6 months yet, but we would want to get your school transcripts. So there's some pat answers, and then there's some answers that are a little fluid depending upon individual situations.
Thank you, Mary. I should note also that I don't think we, MWCLT, as a separate from our lenders, has a requirement for that, do we, Elizabeth?
No, it's more just getting approved by your lender.
Yeah, okay. All right, I think we have all the quiz responses we're going to get, so I'm going to go through the answers really quickly. So we got a bunch of people saying they're going to submit applications right away. Super excited. We will try and handle those as efficiently and quickly as we can. Some people saying soon, but not right away. Some people saying they need more information. Again, contact information is on the screen if you need more information. So the questions, true or false? MWCLT homes are fully inheritable. They can be passed down to your heirs regardless of income, as long as they'll use the property as their primary residence. This is true, and most of you got that right, so good job. You can, yeah, and like Elizabeth mentioned, we offer life planning document services during the closing process. So we'll help you, get a will and durable power of attorney and medical directive. Okay, next question. What equity will you get back when you sell your MWCLT home? Your down payment, the loan principal you've paid off through your monthly mortgage payments, or your home's increase in value, or all of the above? Answer here is all of the above. So good work on that one. You get all that stuff, your cash equity, your earned equity, the increase in value. And then finally, how do MWCLT homes increase in value? This is crucial. Based on the market rate appraisal, based on the increase in the Richmond area median income, or they don't. The answer is based on the increase in the Richmond area median income. Again, what you sell your home for is governed by the ground lease, and the ground lease says that your home will increase in value along with the Richmond area median income. What that does is guarantee that your home will always stay affordable to someone who is making a similar income level to you, as opposed to, the market making your house, grow, like 25% in like a single year, like we had recently. We don't want that to happen. We want these homes to be affordable permanently, and we want as many people to live in them as possible. We want as many people to earn, earn equity from them as we can. So they're tied to the increase in the area median income. So yeah, thanks guys.
Great. If anyone has any more questions, we can answer them. Otherwise, have a great rest of your Tuesday evening and stay in touch with any questions that you have for us.